You open your eyes for the very first time, and congratulations, you're a human baby, but not like the other babies in the hospital ward. Nobody knows it yet, but you've just been born with magic. And while that might sound exciting, it's actually going to make your life incredibly complicated. You're born in 1940 to two non-magical parents in Leeds, England. And for the first 11 years of your life, strange things seem to happen around you. Lights exploding when you're upset, objects moving on their own, accidentally making things happen that you can't explain. Your parents don't understand it, and neither do the doctors. Then, on your 11th birthday in the summer of 1951, everything changes when a letter is delivered to your house by an owl. It's an acceptance letter from the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. It's addressed to you in green ink, sealed with a crimson wax crest, and somehow lists your exact bedroom. That's because there are only a few thousand wizards in all of Britain, and it turns out that you are one of them. Your parents, however, are just regular people, or as they're known in the wizarding world, muggles. And because they're just muggles, it's standard protocol that you get a visit from a member of the Ministry of Magic along with your letter so they can explain things to them. You see, the Ministry of Magic is the main governing body of the magical community of Great Britain and Ireland. The muggles here are governed by the UK government, but the wizards are governed by the ministry. A witch knocks at your front, and after being invited in, she explains to your parents that you're a wizard, and that there's a hidden magical society that's been operating under their noses for all of recorded history. She tells them you'll be attending Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, a boarding school where you'll receive the finest education in magic that a wizard can get. The International Statute of Wizarding Secrecy, established in 1692, normally forbids revealing magic to non-magical people, but in cases where the child is magical, the parents must be told. There are schools located all over the world, but you're off to Hogwarts in the Scottish Highlands. The witch hands your parents a supply list and directions to the Leaky Cauldron in London, then disappears with a crack, vanishing into thin air. A few weeks later, your parents take you to Diagon Alley through the Leaky Cauldron, a grimy pub they couldn't see until you pointed it out. The barman taps specific bricks on the back wall that's 3 up and 2 across, and it opens into a cobblestone shopping street that looks Victorian. First stop is Gringotts, the goblin-run bank. Goblins are 3 to 4 foot tall with long fingers and pointed beards, and they're very distrustful, usually slightly more towards wizards than muggles. Your mother exchanges £500 for wizarding currency, galleons, gold, sickles, silver, and nuts, bronze. The conversion is 17 sickles to a galleon and 29 nuts to a sickle, and 1 galleon equals about £5, making your supply budget roughly 100 galleons. You need a pewter cauldron, standard size 2 specifically, glass vials, a telescope, brass scales, 3 sets of plain work robes, a pointed hat, dragon hide gloves, a winter cloak, and books. The Standard Book of Spells, A History of Magic, Magical Theory, A Beginner's Guide to Transfiguration, 1000 Magical Herbs and Fungi, Magical Drafts and Potions, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and The Dark Forces, A Guide to Self-Protection. These books are only available at Flourish and Blots, and cost significantly more than regular textbooks. You also need parchment, quills, and ink, because wizards don't use pens or pencils. At Ollivander's, makers of fine wands since 382 BC, the eccentric Mr. Ollivander measures you obsessively and pulls down dusty boxes. The process involves trying multiple wands until one responds to you. His family has been operating this business for thousands of years. So when it comes to picking wands, Mr. Ollivander here is as much of an expert as you're going to get. After trying a few, one feels warm. 10¼ inches, oak with dragon heartstring unyielding. That'll be 7 galleons. You also need an owl for 15 galleons. More than your wand costs. Because the wizarding postal system is entirely owl-based. Owls somehow know where everyone lives and deliver letters accordingly. By the end of the day, you've spent most of the money. Your mother is quietly horrified, especially knowing you'll need new books every year for 7 years. September 1st. You're at King's Cross Station looking for platform 9 3/4. There's no sign for it. You have to run through the brick barrier between platforms 9 and 10. Your parents watch in horror as you disappear through a solid brick wall. Platform 9 3/4 is packed with families in robes. You board the Hogwarts Express, and the train departs at 11 o'clock for a 7-hour journey to Scotland. Peering out the window, you slowly watch your old life disappear as the train pulls away. The 7-hour journey reveals a social divide. Students from magical families discuss Quidditch, a sport on flying broomsticks, the Flow Network, fireplace travel, and famous wizards. When you mention television, someone asks what that is. You see, wizarding homes don't have electricity. They just use candles or magical light. The Ministry of Magic bans certain muggle artifacts like radios or cars, reinforcing cultural isolation to preserve a stagnant and elitist society. Another muggle-born girl quietly tells you some wizards use a slur for people like you. Mudblood. Congratulations, you made it to Hogwarts. On the first night there, you're sorted into one of the 4 houses by the Sorting Hat, a sentient hat that reads minds. It's over 1,000 years old and used to be owned by Godric Gryffindor, one of the 4 founders of Hogwarts.